We are less than 100 days away from the 2026 midterms, and the Democratic National Committee has taken an unusual step to secure its cash flow during this off-year cycle. They quietly pledged their own Capitol Hill headquarters as collateral to secure a $15 million line of credit. Welcome to Shasta Unfiltered. We are dedicated to serving the North State with honest news and breaking down the complex realities of political finance, so you can see exactly where the money is and isn't flowing. This chart breaks down the DNC's current balance sheet. As of the latest filings, they hold roughly $16.3 million in cash, weighed down by $18.5 million in debt. That leaves the National Party operating in a net negative position of more than $2 million. Compare that to the Republican National Committee, which currently sits on $128.5 million in cash reserves, with zero debt. Chairman Ken Martin is overseeing a period where the party's three main financial arteries are collapsing simultaneously. Traditionally, high-dollar elite donors are the most efficient way to fund a national political party. A few large checks can cover heavy operational costs without the overhead required to chase millions of small contributions. Looking at this chart tracking maximum legal contributions over a 6-month window, you can see where that efficiency broke down. While the DNC typically pulls in over 130 max donors in a comparable period, that number has dropped to only 47. Dozens of reliable financial heavyweights simply stopped writing checks. Donors and bundlers are citing a loss of trust in DNC leadership, frustration over how the 2024 campaign liabilities are being handled, and internal party dysfunction. Instead of funding the national party, they are redirecting their money directly to individual candidates or state committees. With the elites pulling back, the DNC is now shifting its focus to grassroots digital platforms to cover basic operations and debt service. That brings us to the second artery, ActBlue. For years, this online platform has been the powerhouse for processing democratic small-dollar grassroots donations. It is now facing a series of legal and congressional challenges. Congressional investigations have identified fraud vulnerabilities within the system. Lawmakers documented hundreds of donations routed through prepaid cards with data pings originating from foreign IP addresses during the 2024 cycle. Investigators also highlighted a domestic pattern involving 18 registered Democrats in Connecticut, all over the age of 70, who are recorded as making hundreds of thousands of small donations, totaling $1.9 million. Several of those seniors stated they never authorized the transactions or made the donations. The legal fallout includes reports from the House Administration, Judiciary, and Oversight Committees. President Trump directed the Department of Justice to investigate these platforms, and Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has filed a lawsuit alleging ActBlue misled consumers about its anti-fraud safeguards. Internally, the platform's legal and compliance team turned over by March 2025. During congressional depositions, key personnel invokes their Fifth Amendment rights a combined 146 times. The DNC's primary remaining financial crutch is legally compromised. The volume of unclaimed donations has led to questions about whether illicit money was funneled through the system under the guise of grassroots support. The third failing artery involves the institutional dark money and Progressive NGO network that historically provided structural muscle for the party. This ecosystem contracted early in 2025 with the rapid dismantling of the U.S. Agency for International Development. For years, conservatives criticized USAID as an indirect, taxpayer-funded subsidy system that moved personnel and grants into left-leaning nonprofits aligned with democratic priorities. At the center of that progressive philanthropic infrastructure stood a for-profit consulting firm called Arabella Advisors. They utilized a fiscal sponsorship model, legally housing hundreds of advocacy groups and websites to obscure the original donors. This network map visualizes the operation. Core funds reported peak revenues around $1.5 billion, transferring hundreds of millions into political advocacy. Under sustained scrutiny, Arabella Advisors ceased operations under that name in late 2025, restructuring into a new entity called Sunflower Services. Losing this synchronized multi-billion-dollar machine removes a pillar of support. The DNC can no longer rely on this NGO ecosystem to handle the heavy lifting of messaging, operational capacity, and voter mobilization. The immediate result of these three severed arteries is a significant efficiency gap. The DNC is currently paying over $700,000 just on loan interest, while the RNC and Trump-aligned super PACs have hundreds of millions in usable firepower. The debt pressure is so high that party officials are halting their traditional large cash transfers to the Democratic congressional and senatorial campaign committees. The central financial hub of the party is constrained. This national financial vacuum directly impacts us right here in Shasta County and across California's North State. National party infrastructure dictates the data resources and programs available on the ground. When the DNC is forced to prioritize debt service over candidate support, the effects move downstream. Competitive races suffer from reduced data resources, weaker voter contact programs, and a lack of critical funding for down-ballot candidates. While the party's financial position is defined by these three failing streams, the final outcome will be decided at the ballot box. To stay informed on how these national shifts impact our local community, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and visit ShastaUnfiltered.com for more honest news.